Yeah, I think that's one of the many important questions. Good morning to you again, Jeff, as well, because Iran seems to be the key here as well. Russia, Saudi Arabia are working very closely, and we've heard enough about this bromance at various levels between MBS and Putin, between Khalid al-Fallah and indeed Alexander Novak, and at various levels we understand institutional frameworks that a longer-term cooperation between Russia and Saudi, Russia and OPEC are taking place, and maybe we'll hear some more about that later on as well. But the fact of the matter is OPEC is divided amongst itself as well. There are all kinds of nuances, but of all of those, the key issue is the one you've identified. Can Iran be brought along with the others and agree to some form of exit strategy, i.e. increasing production? Now, Iran doesn't have that many cards. This is a very important point, and a lot of the protagonists know that Iran doesn't have many cards, but one thing they can do is say, we are not going to agree to unanimity. We are not going to go along with this. And we thought earlier in the week, of course, and we'll get some tape in a second, that Iran wasn't on board. Then the last couple of days we thought Iran was on board, and yesterday at events where he was invited to the Joint Ministerial Monitoring Committee, which is the second of 4 meetings we've got this week. I mean, it's just crazy number of meetings, too many in many ways actually. He came along and he stormed out after 1 hour saying it just wasn't working for him. We understand he held an off-the-record briefing late last night where he railed against the situation as well. So he doesn't have that many options today as well. We'll come to that in a few moments' time. Let's listen in first of all to the ministers we've been speaking about, because we have spoken to all of them really, but I mean, I'll just give you a little sampling of some of the doorsteps I've been doing. And we start off with Bijan Zanganeh of Iran, and my question to him was, do you think, sir, there can be a deal? Listen in.
I don't think, because every decision in OPEC needs the unanimity, and I don't believe in this meeting we can reach agreement. And the important things, I would like to declare that OPEC is an independent organization and is not an American organization.
Oil and politics go hand in hand over the years. What this is doing, especially given the clamor by the US president for prices to go down, the formation of the consumer body by India and China and the rest of them, is to bring them together on the table.
Your Excellency, are you more optimistic of a deal, sir? Are you more optimistic, sir?
Yes, I am optimistic.
Is Iran on board, sir?
We'll find out.
We will reach a decision that suits the market and suits the consumers and the stability of the market.
We have been discussing the building blocks of this framework because the decision in December was that we should institutionalize this partnership. And it is a multilateral process.
I'm confident that we will reach some sort of good agreement, okay?
And Iran and Iraq and Venezuela are on board with production hikes, sir?
We will discuss them with you.
Al-Uwaibi, Barkindo, Matsrui, Al-Fallah, Kachikwu, they were all on board, weren't they, if you heard from there pretty much as well. Zanganeh wasn't. So let's just talk about what the options Zanganeh has today as well. He doesn't have lots of options. That is the point. He is very isolated. He doesn't have friends in the region. He doesn't have friends globally, of course, because of what the United States is doing potentially with the sanctions as well. He has a friend in Russia as well. And upsetting the Russians, well, that would be very, very diplomatically tricky for the Iranians, because it would lose potentially one of their key allies, one of their only allies as well. So there have been bilaterals between Mr. Novak and Mr. Zanganeh. Have the Russians managed to get the Iranians on board despite the events of last week? That will be the key of the next 6 or 7 hours of my life as well. But again, the Iranians don't have a lot of options. I can give you options. 1, they sign up, or 2, they walk out, or 2, they sign up but they still rail against, or 2B or whatever it is, rail against the situation as well. So they don't have a lot of options. In many ways, they just have to go along with it. It's a question of whether they walk out or not.
Hey everybody, it's Hadley Gamble from our new CNBC Middle East Bureau in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for stopping by. Now to watch more, you can try one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe.